Сега ще видим как стоят нещата на рафта в магазина с помощта на Спирос, който ще ни разкаже за успешния маркетинг на мястото на покупка и ще ни даде някои примери от практиката.
Yeah. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for being here. I am very glad to be with you. My presentation today will be about marketing at the point of purchase, and it will be divided into two areas, into two portions. The one would be about some basic marketing principles, whereas the second would be about showing you how the methodology that we use and many firms use across the globe can provide the information concerning shoppers' behavior at the point of purchase while shoppers are in store. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Spiros Korkulos. I am a Greek guy. I am the managing director of Apricot Consulting. It is a UK-based firm. We are a niche consulting firm and specializing on shopper research on the one hand, and on the other we provide training focused on commercial skills like negotiations, category management, account planning, and so on. But today we'll speak about shoppers' behavior and how we try to examine it to understand shopper behavior. Let's start. I suppose that you are familiar with the proverb that every purchase is a part of a journey. Suppose that we are at our sofa at our house and are looking for Kaufland's, Bila's, Fantastico's leaflet. We are looking for products. This is the start of the journey. After that, maybe it is, right now we do it online at our smartphone or tablet. But we search for products, there is a need. And the journey ends when we go in store, either online or on bricks and mortar, and we purchase a brand, a product. So there is a journey. First of all, I want to distinguish the difference between consumer and shopper. On a par with previous speakers, I will speak about consumer, but I will focus on shoppers. What's the difference that exists between these two terms? Could someone tell me? If it is possible in English, please. No one. Yes?
Consuming the product.
Yes, that's the difference. So, consumers express the demand side, whereas shoppers are those that buy products. And I know that marketeers around the globe have spent significant amount of time and money, of course, in order to understand consumers' behavior and the last, at least, decade, shoppers' behavior, because shoppers' behavior was ignored in the past. We were speaking about consumer marketing and not shopper marketing. But I think that we should include in our terminology shopper marketing too. Let's go deeper. I also know that you might be aware of the so-called path to purchase. From the one side is demand, and from the other is buy. Between demand and buy, there are some steps. The path to purchase, as we say, is a cyclical process that connects consumer demand with what shoppers buy. And let's go deeper. There are some points that marketeers are trying to influence. For instance, we are trying to influence store choice. Retailers are advertising heavily in order to influence store choice. A brand, either I will buy from Kaufland or from Billa or from Lidl. Maybe shoppers and consumers today shop in more than one retailers, including hard discounters. We're also trying to influence the place that the product or brands are positioned in store. And of course, price, and we do many promotion. These are some of the issues that marketeers are trying to influence. And I suppose that so far it was clear that consumers and shoppers might be different people. As you have mentioned earlier, consumer is the one that uses products, whereas the shopper is the one that selects, that buys the products. We will also see some other principles. Maybe you're familiar with what we call moments of truth. It was introduced in the business arena in the early 80s by the then CEO SAS. SAS is the Scandinavian airline. They were facing significant problems, financial problems, and Mr. Carlson has decided to focus on customer. So he introduced the term moment of truth that was about focusing on customer. Previous speakers were saying that the customer is the king. This is correct. Customer is the king. At the same decade, Walmart's founder, Sam Walton, was also saying that there is a 10-foot rule. It was again about the customer. The customer is king, and we have to treat him very well. We have to provide him customer service that exceeds his expectations. Almost 2 decades later, in 2005, PG's CEO has moved on concerning moment of truth. He has also spoken about customer experience, and he was saying about the customer experience with the product. This happens, first of all, when the consumer or the shopper is interacting with the brand, let's say in store or online. But there are other moments of truth when consumers use the product. And finally, when they give us feedback. Last but not least, in 2011, Google has introduced something very interesting, the zero moment of truth. What is the zero moment of truth? It's the time that a consumer is searching on Google, because I suppose that all of us are searching on Google, not anywhere else. And we are looking for a product. But there is a reason behind that. Let's say I was recently got married, so I want to have a new car, so I'm browsing the internet and trying to find offers or to find features about cars that are relevant to my needs. So something happens in the life of the shopper, of the consumer, and he is searching on the net to find information and to be engaged with the product. Finally, about statistics and the theory, there is an association for the retail, a global association for marketing at the retail. It is called Popeye. Right now it is not called Popeye, it is called SOP. So they were claiming that 70% of decisions are made in store. Do you agree? Yes. Well, there were many oppositions in that statistic. First of all, let's see what decisions do we make in store. We will decide which brand we will buy. Do you agree? Apart from that, we will decide how much we will buy. Maybe we decide not to buy anything. And of course, there is the so-called impulse buying. We see something that is of interest to us, and we select a product. Is there anything else that you can mention? No? Okay, let's go further. The opposition was about the fact that shoppers across the globe do not behave at the same pace and at the same way. Besides, categories and shops differ. Shops and retail outlets in Bulgaria are different compared to the UK. Convenience is more important in the UK and has a different method to approach consumers in the UK than it does in Bulgaria or in Southeastern Europe in general. Apart from that, this statistic oversimplifies the situation. And, at least from my standpoint, the most important thing is that shoppers and consumers have multiple influences by social groups and especially their family. Imagine a mother that is doing her weekly shopping at a shop, at a retail outlet. Maybe she doesn't want to purchase confectionaries for her children, but if she doesn't, they will cry, they will say, "Oh, we are not satisfied, we want something." So she might be forced to buy something. So we must not ignore social influences, and especially family influences. There are many other reasons. So what we are going to see today is we will try to understand shoppers' behavior. This is crucial. And how we can do that? There are many tools that we can use. One of these is eye tracking, but we can also use store filming, we can use exit interviews, questionnaires, and we can also use path trackers. Today we will focus on eye tracking. What is eye tracking? It's a methodology that we use. We will show you how the process is running. Respondents that get inside the store wear some glasses, and with these glasses we can have information as far as where the cornea of the eye is looking at. We call them fixations. Fixations are kept on our brain if we look at a point for at least 0.12 seconds. It's a very minimum amount of time, if you think about that. But we record it. However, as we are showing the next slide, we cannot recall this memory because it's too small. But it exists. Using this methodology, we can retrieve this information and use it in order to understand shoppers' behavior at the point of purchase while they are in store.